call the meeting to order. Call the roll.
Trustee Healy?
Here.
Trustee Katsinas?
Here.
Trustee Milani?
Here.
Trustee Compass?
Here.
Trustee Reardon?
Here.
Trustee Radiszewski?
Here.
Mayor Pika?
Here.
Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the March 17th, 2025 Committee of the Whole minutes.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Katsinas.
I move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Committee of the Whole of March 17th, 2025.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Milani?
Aye.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Mayor Pika?
Aye.
Are there any non-scheduled citizens and visitors for agenda-specific public comment?
Anybody sign in?
Nobody signed in. Okay.
Okay.
First item, Police Department Evidence Storage Room Project, RFP 25-007, Contract Award.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Reardon.
I move to recommend to the village board to waive the competitive bidding process in favor of the solicitation of competitive proposals and to approve and authorize the execution of a contractor agreement between the Village of Orland Park and Cruz Construction of Blue Island, Illinois as the highest weighted evaluation scored qualified responsive proposal for RFP 25-007, Police Department Evidence Storage Room Project for a cost of $321,027 plus a 10% contingency of $32,102.70 for a total not to exceed contract price of $353,129.70.
Second.
Any questions or comments? So this is was a great job by Joel coming up with a solution. We were looking at using it. Basically, what people don't understand is that we've got to keep evidence for a period of time, some of it forever, and we're running out of space. And so we looked at potentially taking some of our old pump houses that are not completely beyond their useful life and using them and refurbishing them, and we looked at those options, and then Joel had a great idea for using the mezzanine that will buy us, about 20 more years of storage, so that we can still keep it inside the police station, which makes it a lot easier to secure. So great idea, Joel. It was more cost effective and also gets us 20 years down the road, so thank you for that. Call the roll.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Trustee Milani?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Trustee Radiszewski?
Aye.
Mayor Pika?
Aye.
2025 Concrete Flatwork Asphalt Sidewalk Replacement Program, RFP 25-022 Bid Award.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Milani.
move to recommend to the village board to waive the competitive bidding process in favor of the solicitation of competitive proposals and to approve the authorization and execution of a contractor agreement between the Village of Orland Park and Dale Incorporated of New Lenox, Illinois as the lowest cost qualified responsive proposal for RFP 25-022 2025 Concrete Flatwork, Asphalt, and Sidewalk Replacement Program for a cost of $262,970 plus a contingency of $52,594 for a total not to exceed cost of $315,564.
Second.
Any comments? And Joel, this will wrap up the first, the two-year phase or 3-year phase from the first assessment we did of all the sidewalks?
We broke it into, this one is for a lot of our repairs after a water main break. It usually disturbs the sidewalk or
Okay.
curb. Next board meeting, we'll be bringing you the bids. They're opening up, I believe, on the 9th, so 2 more days for the sidewalk trip throughout the village, which are predominantly tripping hazards. And those, that will be coming next board meeting.
So I'm 2 weeks ahead.
2 weeks.
Okay, so this sidewalk is for our annual repairs that we do, just for water mains, that kind of stuff. We did do an assessment, 3 years ago now?
For which,
We did a sidewalk assessment
Yes,
across the entire
sidewalk,
village 3 years ago, and we had a 2-year plan to replace all of the sidewalks that were tripping hazards or the light were damaged throughout the village, and there were a lot. It was, again, a large capital undertaking of stuff that was ignored for a long time. So put ourselves in a good position for the long term. So that will be approved at the next meeting. On this one, call the roll.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Trustee Rashewski? Mayor Peacock?
Aye.
Doogan Park Redevelopment Project 14700 through 14760 Park Lane.
Trustee Reardon? Discussion only? Okay. Who's given the staff report?
Yeah, this is just for informational purposes. Ray's going to get into more details about the scope of the project, but because we haven't had the public hearings on this yet, this is just what we're planning on. It's a draft of the staff report, and if there's anything that you'd like to discuss after
Okay.
Ray, then we can talk about it then.
You want to give us kind of an overview?
Yeah, so from an entitlement standpoint, what needs to happen is rezoning the property from R3 to OS, which is what we're doing with all the park properties, so they're open space zoning. There'll be a special use permit for the lighting on the facility, and then there's a variance to not put in one of the sidewalk pieces that goes into a very steep sideways incline. Yeah, so that's basically the entitlement portion of the,
And that goes to the board next Tuesday?
yeah, that's where we
And
are.
then, so we'll see it at the next board meeting and can get it approved
Yes,
and wrap it up.
that's the
so to
goal,
speak.
yes.
Okay, great. And do we have a picture of the layout, just so people can see what it looks like? So that people, and we're putting in 10 pickleball courts, expanding the parking lot area, and
And there's an additional,
I think there's a basketball court you can't see there, and then we're refurbishing the soccer field and ball fields there, and it'll also be lighted, correct?
yes.
So that we will actually have lighted pickleball courts and 2 tennis courts.
There's also, there will be one additional parking lot just off the bottom of the screen, maybe.
Right, it's there now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
There'll be some improvements made to
Yeah,
that
there you
section
go.
also, right? And a
Great.
playground.
And a sledding hill too, right?
Yes, that's the southernmost.
So we'll have another sledding hill. Awesome. So the kids in that neighborhood, in those 2 neighborhoods, the one to the east and then the one under the tracks where the underpass is to the west. So, great. Okay. You want to use the microphone?
There will be drainage improvements as well, Mayor.
Yes. Great. Okay. Any other comments from anybody? Okay, awesome.
Doogan Park Redevelopment Plan, this is also discussion only.
Yeah, I think we just discussed it, so I think we're good.
Good.
Anybody have any more comments? Okay.
2025 Fall Program List.
Mr. Mayor,
Trustee Reardon?
I move to recommend to the village board to approve Recreation and Parks Department Fall 2025 program offerings and special events, and to authorize payment to each contractual vendor and/or instructor based upon the approved contractual agreements between the Village of Orland Park and the vendor, based upon the actual participation of each session at the resident rate and the agreed-upon percentage, and recommend authorizing the village manager to execute all related contracts subject to village attorney review.
Could you give us a quick overview here, Ray?
Good evening, Mayor and Board. It'll be my pleasure to present our fall program. So we're on the cusp of summer, hopefully the cusp of summer coming here, but we are already looking to the fall and developing our fall brochure. So again, we present this 3 times a year, and we produce a brochure. We have a winter, spring brochure, a summer brochure, and this is the fall brochure that we're producing. Most programs are taught in-house, but there's a substantial number that are also contracted. When we contract out, we have an arrangement with the contractor. They provide all the labor, majority of the equipment, and they receive a percentage of the class revenue based on the resident rate, and then we receive the rest of that. In the fall, these are our special events that we're looking at, and so some of these events take place in the summer, but they'll be in the fall guide, so that's why they're on this list here. So you can see the concert series, the August concert will be in there. Centennial Park West presents events, those Thursday events, which will include a market in September, the August Veterans Golf Classic, the Civil War event, which takes place at Stillwagon Farm, pumpkin party, a whole host of turkey events over Thanksgiving, and then all other holiday events that you can see there. There are programs that we discontinue every year, and so these are programs that have kind of run its course, don't have good participation, so we retire certain programs, and so you can see a list of those there. And then staff is pretty enthusiastic, and they introduced quite a few new programs, so these all fit within what's been approved in the budget. You can see Sportsplex has a lot of fitness programs, athletic programs. We'll have a theater program coming up. And then more recreation programs. Special Rec has some things. The ice rink will host its own New Year's event in addition to the New Year's event that we'll host at the Civic Center. And they'll have a blow-on ice event. And then the heritage sites will have a host of events as well. That's pretty much the fall program list highlights.
Any questions?
Mr. Mayor?
Trustee Reardon?
Not really a question, just a comment that I think you guys do a great job of the analytics of what is popular. I know you're going to get some people, one-offs, that complain about one particular program that they really loved, and we try to do everything we can for everybody, but I really think you do a good analysis each quarter, each half a year to see what's really working, and then providing all kinds of new ones. So great job to you and the staff.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani?
just a quick question. Back a couple slides, you were eliminating some dance programs?
Yeah, we lost some key instructors, and so our dance program that runs, our dance program that has a higher level of participation that is now discontinued till we can build the program back up. So we lost some key instructors that prevent us from doing that.
Okay, so we're not eliminating all dance, just.
Oh, no, just some of the higher level ones.
Because I'm like, we just redid all of that.
Yeah, no, dance is actually going very well with new instructors, but we're rebuilding the program a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, that's why I was just curious. Thank you.
Any other comments? Call the roll.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Trustee Rashewski?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Mayor Pico?
Aye.
ITB 23-054, Turf Fertilization and Weed Control Contract Award.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Compass.
I move to recommend to the village board to approve the waiver of the competitive bid process and approve and authorize the execution of a contractor agreement between the Village of Orland Park and Forever Green Lawn Care Incorporated of Crown Point, Indiana, as the second lowest qualified bid for ITB 23-054, turf fertilization and weed control for an amount of $232,849.41 for 2025 and $232,849.41 for 2026 for a total contract price of $465,698.82, with the option to extend for 2 additional years at a cost of $237,506.40 for 2027 and $242,256.53 for 2028, for a total not to exceed amount of $945,461.75.
Second.
Any questions or comments? Yeah, it's not cheap to fertilize our fields.
No, this is both the fields, also playgrounds and parks, as well as weed control for the parks too. So it's a bigger scope than most people realize.
Call the roll.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Rashewski?
Aye.
Mayor Peacock?
Aye.
Any non-scheduled citizen visitor for public comment on items relevant to village business?
Okay, great. Man, these committees of the whole take a long time.
Forever.
Yeah, we'll be here forever.
Mr. Chairman,
Trustee Malani.
move to adjourn.
Second.
Call the roll.
Trustee Malani?
Aye.
Trustee Compass?
Aye.
Trustee Healy?
Aye.
Trustee Katsinas?
Aye.
Trustee Reardon?
Aye.
Trustee Rashewski?
Aye.
Mayor Peacock?
Aye. We're adjourned. Hang out for 45 minutes.